It's about time, Shane, that we have the color analyst for the Arizona Wildcats on radio, and he's been doing that for probably so long that I can't even remember when he started working with Brian Jeffries on the IMG network. Lamont Lovett joins us here on Wildcat Country. Lamont, first of all, great to finally have you on. Shane and I have been wanting to have you on for a while, but glad to make it happen. You do a great job. I have to ask you, this whole transition from Kevin Sumlin to Jedd Fisch, what were your thoughts when it happened? And what are your thoughts on the Jedd Fisch administration now?
Well, when it initially happened, I don't think I was probably different from anyone else. I just wasn't as familiar with the hire. I think everybody was kind of all looking in one direction. We were all looking. I think everyone here probably thought the San Jose State coach was going to get the job. So I was like everyone else. We were all kind of a little bit taken back by the hire, but zoom forward now. We're all thrilled to have him here. I think he's done a tremendous job from the day he got here. Under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of, a circumstance that probably, it seemed a little hostile in the beginning when he got here, but he never flinched. He just kind of, the first day I remember he got on the Zoom call with the team and introduced himself and he just put his head down and just kept working. And he's really impressed, everyone from the alumni, to the community and everyone else. He's just done an excellent job. And so I'm excited. I'm just looking forward, to calling games and watching him run this offense this year. I think it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, Lamont, speaking of alumni, Jedd has done a tremendous job bringing back alumni, making them feel like they're part of the university again. They are part of the university again. I think that his predecessor, you don't have to respond to this, but I think his predecessor failed miserably in that regard. What does it mean to you as a Wildcat alum to see that kind of investment being made in Arizona alumni, and how important do you think that will be to the success of the program?
I think it's incredible. I think, honestly, I just think it shows a lot of wisdom. To first, whenever you come into any program, to show respect to the alumni. These are guys that, if any of you want anybody to support you, you want the alumni to be behind you. You want these guys that, have a voice, and the guys that actually understand what it looks like, what it looks like to win, those types of things. You want those guys to be behind you. And he reached out to us immediately. He showed respect for the program. He didn't come in here with a cocky attitude like, this is who I am, and, you guys basically bow down. It was more, he came in, he showed reverence to guys who played here, which he didn't have to do. Immediately reached out to Teddy Bruschi, immediately, guys like Ricky Hunley, bringing those guys back. I just think those are really shrewd and intelligent moves because, it immediately got our attention when we saw guys like Chuck Cecil and Ricky, and bringing Brandon back immediately got our attention because those are guys that we all respect, and we know those are guys that laid it on the line for this program and did a great job. Now, from there, like I heard Coach Fisch say the other day, like the marketing job is over, and now it's time to play some football, and I'm excited to see it. I think he's going to do a great job, and I'm completely convinced. I'm kind of a football nerd. I've been really, really, kind of going back, watching film and following all the years that he's, coached at different places. And I'm just really excited to watch.
So not a big surprise, but Arizona, for most experts at this point, we looked at Athlon Sports breakdown of the Pac-12. They're picked to finish last in the Pac-12 South. They're ranked 91st out of 130 among all the division, the FBS teams, and either they're lower in some. Do you think that's about right, or do you think Arizona could surprise a little bit here and there, maybe in Jedd Fisch's first season?
Well, you can't blame them for what their ranking is. The performance of last year's team and what that team did. This is a new coaching. This is it's going to be a new system, new coordinators, new everything is going to be new. So, you can only go off of what you know, and so I'm not going to you don't expect anything different from those. They're ranking basically based off of what they did last year. I think that I can only go by what I've seen thus far. I can only go by, the job that he's doing in recruiting. I can only go by, as far as the staff that he's hired. And so just based off of the information that I've seen, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited, and I feel like he's going to have some success right out the gate. What that's going to look like, how many wins that's going to translate to, who knows? We'll find out. But if they can improve just marginally on defense, which is they're at the bottom right now. So if they can improve there, if they can score a few more points, I think they averaged like I don't know maybe like 17 points a game last year, which is in this conference. You're not going to win a lot of games scoring 17 points. All I know is when his first year at UCLA, they averaged. I think before he got there, they averaged 24 points a game. In his first year, they went up to 32 points a game is what they averaged in his first year. His first year at Michigan, when he was at Michigan, they were that offense. I think previously, before that, I can't remember what the scoring total was, but I know that they averaged like 40 points a game in that 2016 season that he was there. And his impact is if you follow where he's been and you look at what he's been able to do, he's had an impact on the offense. So I think the important things are going to be here is to get guys playing better on the defensive side of the ball, getting these guys swarming to the ball, just playing better football. And I think that Don Brown's going to do a good job in that area. I'm not really concerned about having guys play better and getting guys in the right position and that type of thing. It's going to come down to, obviously, I don't want to just sound so cliche as to talk about execution and all those things, but it's going to come down to some basics of winning football. So and you're going to have some luck, on an injury standpoint. So I know that this has not been a very deep team. So I think you're going to be fortunate in the area of injuries to have success. But I think if they can improve offensively, score a few more points, and solidify things on the defensive side of the ball, who knows what can happen.
Well, I asked this to Coach Fish last week, and he didn't really answer it. So I'm going to ask you instead, Lamont, and I know you'll give me a truthful answer. What position group are you most looking forward to watching, in particular? Now, you were a running back. The running back group has a lot of talent. For me, it's the wide receiver group, which I think is loaded with talent. Which group stands out to you as an area that Wildcat fans can look forward to this year?
I definitely think you're hitting on a strong point with the wide receiver group. There's a lot of experience there. Barry Hill, Jamar Joyner, some guy, Tavian Cunningham takes the top off of the defense, really fast guy. Jalen Johnson, some of the guys we really haven't got an opportunity to see, but watching these guys in spring, that's definitely going to be a strength. And I think if you look at, Jed's offenses, he runs a precision pass game. I know there's going to be some twists in there this year that we can. I'm just interested to see how he runs it because I've been following what he does, and he knows how to move the football. Obviously, a lot's going to come down to what happens with the quarterback situation. They're going to have to find somebody there, and I think that they've got some guys that have shown that they can do they can move the ball, but that's going to be very important. Whatever happens with the quarterback situation. And I don't know, the running backs even have impressed me. You got Drake Anderson coming in, and you got a few other
like
guys.
Wiley, yeah.
Wiley really impresses me. Jalen John is another guy that I think is gonna, he showed a lot of good things last year. He's probably going to be there more of a power type of a back. I think on the defensive side, I think the D line is something that I'm kind of looking forward to. Getting JB Brown back. I still think Jalen Harris hasn't had that breakout year that I think he's capable of having. I think that under this new coaching staff, under this system, that's going to really allow them to get after the defense. You may see guys like Jalen all of a sudden start coming up with a few more sacks. I really like what I've seen with the strength and conditioning program. So I'm excited. I probably always look at things through my red and blue goggles, but that's okay because I played here and that's what I'm expected to do.
It would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the quarterback position that you just touched on. Will Plummer, Gunnar Cruz, and then Jordan McLeod, who we haven't seen yet, coming from South Florida. What are your expectations on who starts game 1 and who starts game 12 this year? What would be your guess just based on what you've seen or heard?
That's a hard one for me to say because there's still a lot of football to be played. From what I saw in spring, I definitely was impressed with Gunnar Cruz. I think Gunnar, what he does very well is he's shown that he can really push the ball down the field. He throws a great deep ball. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do. But I think Will Plummer has shown that he's got moxie, and he's got a certain toughness to him, and he's got a certain it factor to him as well. And I'm definitely interested to see what Jordan McLeod brings to the table. We really don't have a lot to go off of other than what we saw at South Florida. But, and I know in a game last year, he threw like 400 yards or something like that in a game against UCF. And I've watched that film, and he showed a lot of ability. He's athletic. So, like Coach says, I got to roll the football out there and see what happens, when whoever comes out on top. I'm just excited to see.
Lamont, along with rebuilding this roster, obviously one of the big things Jetfish has to really battle is fan apathy. And even before the pandemic, we saw a lot of empty seats at Arizona Stadium. It seems like it's more of a battle, I think, than like men's basketball is sort of the crown jewel at Arizona, and football, it's we'll show up when the team's winning. Jetfish made the point last week. Well, how about if you show up, we'll win? But everything he's done in the offseason, bringing back Teddy Bruschi and Rob Gronkowski, having the world record and everything he's done, how important do you think that'll be to actually putting fans in the seats for this upcoming season, even though expectations for the team itself aren't very high?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think that, all the coaching staff and the team can do is be prepared and go out there and give their best effort. And I really think it's on the fans to come out. When I was playing back in the 90s, we were always, we've always kind of had this relationship with the fans. When things are great, that stadium is overflowing. It's one of the best atmospheres in the conference. And when they're not, it go the other direction. I think in a perfect world, you'd want all your fans to always, show up, come, what are high water. I know like some Big Ten schools, they could be 3-5 and they still have a packed stadium. It just doesn't seem to be that way out west. But I still I think we've got some good fans. I do. I'm not ragging on or anything like that. But I think it's kind of what it is. I think that they definitely need to get behind this team, get behind this staff, and get out there and support them. I think at the end of the day, if you can create a 12th man atmosphere and be that difference in a tough game, in a close game. Sometimes the crowd can be what pushes that team over the edge. And so it's going to take everybody pulling in the right direction, to get this thing going.
You were watching the Territorial Cup game this past year. What's going through your mind during that massacre, and what's it going to take to turn this rivalry around? It's been 4 straight losses to the guys up north.
Yeah, no, that never is going to sit well with me. That game, I don't really like to think about a lot. That last one, because I throw that one away, flush that one down the toilet. That's not a representation of what that game is supposed to be. I don't have a lot to say about about that game where you let them get 70 on us, but it's what it is. It's in the past. I'm just looking forward to seeing what Coach Fish can do in this rivalry. He definitely understands the importance of it. He's had a chance to sit down with guys like Bruschi, and you got Chuck Cecil on the staff, and you got some guys that understand what this rivalry is, and I think he understands it too. It's something that if you want to be the coach here, you better understand what this rivalry is about, and it's something that's important to the communities, both communities up in Phoenix and out here. So I think he fully understands that, and I'm not worried too much about that right now. I'm optimistic, and I'm waiting to see what happens when the season gets going.
So Shane's favorite ASU U of A game was 2008, where the Wildcats won 31-10. Mine was 2014, 42-35. Throughout your time associated with Arizona athletics from 1990 onward, what is your favorite Arizona State memory, either as a player or a broadcaster or a fan?
Oh man, there's a bunch of them right now. I've been doing this broadcasting thing now for almost 18 years. A good one that really stands out to me that I'll never remember, it was super exciting, was I want to say it was the 98 season, Trump candidate, when I think he probably rushed for maybe, 250 on him. That was an exciting game. It was a back and forth game. You're on the edge of your seat the entire night, the entire game. Todd Heap for ASU was going off in that game. It was just a dogfight. That one really stands out. Probably the one that I will never forget, though, was my first one. We were playing ASU. I was a true freshman. I remember I was walking out to the stadium, and as I got I kind of had my head down when I was walking out to the stadium just to kind of go warm up. And when I went through the tunnel and kind of looked up, everyone started booing. I thought they were booing me, and I couldn't figure out why everyone was booing. And I looked in front of me, and we had, our starting linebacker, Chris Singleton, was standing up in front of, he was walking out on the field, and he had both, what's raised, flipping the bird, and the whole stadium was booing him, and I was behind him. I didn't realize it, so I was like, well, what did I just walk into here? And as the game went on, we call this the banana suit incident. They came out in they had the maroon and gold uniforms on. Then they went in at halftime and changed and came back out in these yellow banana uniforms. It was hilarious. And anyway, we beat them down. They started out ahead, and as the game went on, we beat them down, took over the game, beat them, and so that was my first introduction to the game and the intensity of it. I can remember Chuck Cecil. Coach told me that Chuck Cecil come and talk to us before the game. And Chuck just exploded in the locker room. My eyes were kind of big, like, "Whoa, this is serious." We had a player on the team, Donnie Salem, that in the locker room was getting really intense before the game. He flipped the table up in the air, split one of our linebackers' head wide open. He's bleeding in the locker room. Coach Dwayne Keenan was our secondary coach. He looks over at the guy who's bleeding, and he says, that's a way to spill some blood for the Wildcats. And everybody just got up and got fired up. But it was kind of a crazy situation. But, we went out there and won the game. It was an exciting game. It was fun. I understood the intensity of that game right away from what the seniors did. Coach Tomey always did a great job of just putting a huge emphasis on the importance of that game. So I was part of those teams that were part of that 8-year winning streak. So definitely understand the importance of that game, and I'm sure that message is strong. Coach Fish, and I'm looking forward to seeing him and how they perform against ASU.
Now, your last game in college was the '94 Fiesta Bowl, which was my team growing up was the University of Miami. My parents went there, so that was my team growing up. So I actually despised U of A. Because of that game, what you guys did to Miami, 29-0. You got one catch for 18 yards in that game. So you're in the box score. What do you remember about that beatdown at Sun Devil Stadium?
A lot. First thing was that, we lost to Miami. I think that was our third time playing them. We played them one year. They came down to Tucson, and they beat us like 31-0. They were the number one rated team in the country. And then we went back up there. Kind of the first year the Desert Swarm was kind of, getting their legs under them, and they beat us, I think, 7-8 or something like that, or 8-6. We missed the last second field goal, almost upset them. So going into the Fiesta Bowl, we had a lot of confidence. We knew, like, okay, we played these guys, and we played them when they were the number one rated team in the country, and we felt like we deserved to win that game. In the Fiesta Bowl, when we played them, we looked at these guys on film, and we were like, you guys aren't as good as that team that we beat. That was the number one rated team. And they had some pretty good players on the team. They had Warren Sapp on the team. They had Ray Lewis. They had some good players. But we looked at the film, and we were just like, this team is not – if they play like this, what we're seeing on film against us, we felt like we were going to beat them down. And that's pretty much what happened. When we got there, when they came out, and we would look at teams on film, and we were like, if you drop back and do this, 5-6 step drop stuff and sit back there in the pocket and think you're going to pat the ball with this defense, you got another thing coming. And Teddy Bruschi and Rob Waldrop and those guys, they just ate. I mean, they were murdering the quarterback the whole night. My cousin was the starting running back for Miami. His name was Donnell Bennett. That's my cousin. And we just put it to him in that game. I'll never forget it. A fun day. Another thing going into that game, I ended up starting that game. I wasn't the starting fullback, that whole week. My roommate, his name was Billy Johnson. He was our starting running back, and on game day, I walked in the locker room and I saw him all hooked up to an IV, and I was like, "What's going on?" And they were like, "You're starting today," and I was like, "What?" And so I start the game, So I ended up playing, the whole game, and it was a fun time. I mean, we just. It was just a great game. Miami all week in Phoenix thought that, they're on all the clubs and everything, and just were walking around like they were, going to really do something to us. And we just beat them down, and we fully expected to do it, and that's pretty much what happened.
Lamont, I got one more question for you, and we really appreciate your time once again. Arizona's had some very good individual seasons. Obviously, the Desert Swarm era, 98, 2014 most recently. It's been difficult for the Wildcats to sustain that success. What's it going to take for Arizona to become, I mean, I'm not saying like a national championship contender, but like a perennially good top 25 football team for multiple seasons?
Well, I think first of all, you got to understand, you have to understand what type of a program this is. And from my experiences, the coaches that have had success here understand that Arizona is it's more of a developmental program from a standpoint of, when you recruit here, you also have to recruit knowing that you're going to have to develop players. Now, obviously, if you get it going and you start winning, it doesn't take a lot for a kid to want to go into a team that's winning games already, or to recruit a kid to a team that's already winning games. But, in the meantime, we're kind of in a location where, people don't automatically know where we are. So it's one of those things where you have to constantly be grinding on the recruiting trail. You don't expect kids to just come. But once you get them on campus and they see, Tucson, and see what type of an atmosphere we have here, and you present the program in the right light, you continue to develop, players. I think that the strategy that Arizona has right now is just spectacular. I think that, having a pro, pushing the pro model, having NFL coaches on our staff. I mean that's an easy one when you're talking to kids that have a dream to play in the NFL, and you can say, "Oh, great, come on over here, check this out. This guy right here coached in the NFL. This guy right here was a first-round draft pick. Ricky Hundley was a top 10 draft pick. Chuck Cecil was the defensive coordinator, for the Rams. For Jed Fish, he was offensive coordinator for Jacksonville. He coached for the Rams. He coached for the Patriots. If you want to have an opportunity to get to the league, and you have the ability, guess what? If you come here, we got guys that can help you get prepared for that. And I think that message is already resonating. And I just think that, as long as you start to see the success, I don't think anybody's expecting them to win the conference in year one. But when you start to see these guys develop, and you just have to build it, you got to keep building it. That's the key. You can never, rest on your laurels, think you don't have to start recruiting. But I think you can build it up to us and get it going. I've seen Coach Tomey, I think, got it going. And I thought Rich Rod was on track, but you can get it going. You can win here is what I'm saying. I was a part of a team that went 10-2 here. You can win here, but you just have to respect what this job is and just grind. If you grind and you respect this job, you can definitely win here. And if you get to the Rose Bowl, you're going to have a statue in front of McHale Center and in front of the stadium. And that's what I want to see in my lifetime. We got so close as a player. The 10-2 year, we were co-champs of the Pac-12 of the Pac-10. My freshman year, we got close. I think we lost in a tie. We tied to Cal or lost to Cal, and if we had won that game, we get to the Rose Bowl. So many opportunities. So if we can just figure out a way to get there, it's not out of reach, man. And I think that we've got an opportunity if we can get the right guys in here on. I think this coaching staff has a real opportunity to have some success, but they're just going to have to continue to recruit and there's no magic to this thing, but at the same time, it can be done. You can win here. Like I said, we've gotten right at the doorstep of it, so I know it can happen. But you just got to have someone that's engaged here and that believes in this program and continues to build it, and it's going to happen. But I want to see it happen in my lifetime because we've gotten so close, but we still haven't gotten there yet. So I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful.
Well, Lamont, we really appreciate you coming on with us. We'll be hearing you on the radio this fall, and we really hope to have you back on to come talk with us, break down, some of the games during the year, and just great analysis and great stories, from your playing days at ASU one about throwing a table, Donnie Salem throwing a table and splitting open a teammate's head. Just great stuff. Really appreciate it. And, best of luck on the year. We'll be listening and look forward to having you back on here again soon.
Thanks, guys. Bear down.